the Mechanical Engineering Department ADIT and funded by Gujkost and DST, the Government of Gujarat. Today's session covers the virtual tour of the waste to energy conversion facilities available at the CL Patel Institute of Studies and Research in Renewable Energy, New Vidyanagar. The CL Patel Institute of Studies and Research in Renewable Energy, popularly known as ISRE, is a CVM University constituent college managed by Charuttar Vidyamandal. It was established in the year 2013, and the coordinator of this institute is Dr. Vishal N. Singh sir. We are thankful to Singh sir for permitting us for this virtual tour and his support. So today the setups that we are going to see are on the based on how we can say produce energy from the waste material like say agricultural waste, plastic waste, right, and all other different forms of waste. You have already gone through 3 sessions that were on biomedical waste, the solid waste, and plastic waste management. We can use all these different forms of waste in this particular systems. So we are standing right outside the biomass conversion laboratory, and we are now going to see those setups that will convert that waste energy, waste biomass into some gaseous forms of fuels. Okay, so have a look at that particular setup. The first setup that we are going to see today is on the downdraft gasification system. I would request all the participants, especially those who have connected from their mobile phones, to keep their mobile phone in the landscape mode for better viewing experience. So the setup that you are seeing over here, it's a downdraft biomass gasification system. It's a 11 kilowatt capacity system. It can give you 11 kilowatt of energy. So first thing comes that what is gasification? The principle of this system is, so gasification is a incomplete combustion process. So inside this reactor, we are going to carry out the incomplete combustion process of a woody biomass. Right. So first, let me give you an overview of different component of this downdraft gasification system. At the top, there is a feeding system. This is your hopper. Over here, there is a reactor inside which the gasification process will be carried out. Now, as I have mentioned, gasification is an incomplete combustion process, right? So we need to supply limited amount of air. So for that, to make sure that only a limited quantity of air goes inside, there is couple of nozzles. You could see over here, one nozzle is over here and another one is on its adjacent side or opposite side. So through this nozzle, only a limited quantity of air will go inside and make sure that incomplete combustion is being carried out. Right? This downdraft gasification system name comes up on the principle that the producer gas, the gas that is generated through this system is referred as producer gas or syngas. The producer gas generated will come out from the bottom of this reactor and it will be directed like this in this upward direction. So this is the outlet of that particular producer gas. So since your say gas is coming out from bottom of the reactor, the name comes up as a downdraft gasifier. Right? This kind of system is also known as fixed bed systems. There are a couple of other types of fixed bed system as well, the cross draft and updraft gasifier. But normally, for better quality of gas, the downdraft system are more commonly used. Why? Because since the gas is going to come out from the bottom, right? So majority of impurities present in your gas, whether particulate matter or say in form of tar, will get collected at the bottom due to the density difference. Right? So the gas that would be generated will have lower amount of tar and particulate content in it. Right? Okay. now the producer gas that going to be comes out from this particular system, over here you can see that there is a as well as cleaning arrangement is being provided for the cleaning of this producer gas. See, over here we are going to supply the gas that is generated over here to the engine, right? And that engine will is coupled with a generator, right? So that way we'll get the electrical power. So before supplying this producer gas to the engine, we had to remove the impurities present in this gas in form of particulate matter and tar, right? So that needed to be removed. If we don't remove that particular impurities, then what will happen? It could clog and chop our engine parts as well as the supply lines. For engine utilization, the syngas that is generated should have tar and particulate content less than 100 milligram per meter cube. Normally, the gas that comes out from this system will have tar and particulate content in it around 10 grams per meter cube. We had to reduce it below 100 milligram per meter cube for utilization in engine. So how this setup works for cleaning and cooling of gas, you can see over here the gas will pass through this Venturi scrubber. This is a Venturi scrubber, right? So from top, your gas will come inside this Venturi scrubber, and from bottom, there is a provision for supply of water. So gas and water both will flow in the counter current direction, right? And due to the scrubbing action, the tar as well as the dissolvable gases in water will get removed. Let us see the water supply part over here. Over here you can see there is a water tank, right? This water tank, through that will supply the water with the help of pump in the counter current direction, right? This is your supply line that you are seeing, right? So from bottom, that water will get supplied, and from top, our producer gas will be supplied, right? So this is a Venturi scrubber which will cool the gas. So your tar, right, which is a condensable part. See, those who are not aware of what is tar, so tar is basically a hydrocarbon, right? When your gas comes out from this reactor, it will be at temperature around 300 to 400 degrees centigrade. So at that point of time, the tar will be in vapor state. But once the temperature falls, the tar will start condensing, and it will become a thick black viscous liquid which will choke your engine. So we have to remove that tar, right? So by cooling the gas, that tar will get condensed and it will get collected at the bottom, right? So tar will get condensed and it will get collected at the bottom part of your this system, right? You could see over here that some of the tar is being stuck, right? Okay, so tar and all the soluble gases in water, for example, the SO2, the NH3, all will get separated over here. Then what will happen? We'll supply our producer gas to this particular filter. Now this filter material, in this case, the filter material is sawdust. You can use any organic material over here, for example, sand, right? Sawdust, rice husk, bagasse. So any kind of organic material you can use, and it is referred as a organic filter, right? So some amount of particle will get separated over here, and then further there is another filter that is referred as baghouse filter, right? In this there will be one fine fabric cloth, a white color fine fabric cloth will be there to capture a smaller size particles, right? If you say wanted to reduce the maintenance work in your engine, you have to make sure that you have removed the tar and particulate content from your producer gas. So that's why fine fabric cloth will be there to say capture small size particles, right? And then you can see over here, this is a tasting line, and you can see the color of your flame. You can see the bluish flame is coming over here. I hope it is visible to everyone. Right? This blue flame indicates you that the quality of the gas is good, right? And it is ready for being supplied to our engine. So we can use, say, this kind of woody biomass, right? You could see over here, we have kept this woods over here. You can use different types of woods, babul wood, neem wood, right? All the different types of wood are suitable for this system. Also, biomass, say other biomass which are, say, not in this solid form like this. So you can make briquettes of that biomass, and you can also feed in this particular system. Right? Additional cost will be of a briquetting system in this case. Okay, so you could see that we are getting a continuous blue flame over here. Right? The running cost of this setup is only that you need to continuously provide it a water supply. Right? You just need to provide a water supply to it. That is all only the operating cost. No other electricity consumption is there in this scenario, right? So this system is having very less amount of maintenance as well as operating cost, and it can give you a continuous power of 11 kilowatt capacity. And the only issue with this kind of downdraft gasification system is that you cannot use biomass which has got very high ash content, because the temperature inside the reactor will be around 1100 to 1200 degrees centigrade. So the biomass which has got very high ash content, so the ash part will get melted, and it will create the operational difficulties by forming clinkers, a stone kind of a structure inside the reactor. So that will create operational difficulties. So agricultural waste, like say risers, sawdust, this kind of material are not suitable for this particular system. Second system will see the fluidized bed gasification system. Then we can use this kind of biomass. Right? So you can see the continuous flame is there. So now our gas is suitable for, say, supply to the engine. You can see over here that there is an engine supply line is there. Right? Over here, this is your engine supply line. Right? Through this, we can supply our producer gas to the engine. This one is your gas engine, right? So this will goes into your gas supply line, intake line, right? There is a provision for supply of air over here, right? And then you can see there are two cylinders that are being provided in this engine that will give you the power, and it is coupled with your generator set and will get the electrical energy. Right? So someone might having the question, what would be the composition of this producer gas? So this producer gas will have major constitute of H2 and CO. It will have some amount of CH4, nitrogen, CO and CO2 as well inside it. Right? So this is your whole engine assembly coupled with the generator part. So this kind of systems are pretty useful in, say, village area where you can find easily this different forms of agriculture waste, right, and can generate off-grid power from that. Right, where the grid power connections are not there, you can use this kind of a system, and you can see there is no pollution is there. Right, the continuous flame is coming. Other than engine application, you can use this gas for thermal application like cooking applications as well. Right, in furnace as well, and also you can supply this gas to the gas turbine plant and also in fuel cells applications as well instead of hydrogen. Right, because major constituent will be hydrogen in this, and also since we have cooled and cleaned this gas, so impurities will be also on the lower side. Right, so this was all regarding the downdraft gasification system. It's a 11 kilowatt capacity system. Right? You can use different woods. You just need to create a fixed bed of wood inside your reactor part. Right? This is your reactor part. The temperature in the reactor will be in the range of 1100 to say 1200 degrees centigrade. Producer gas will comes out from the bottom. It is directed like this, and you can then it passes through this Venturi scrubber, get cooled, removes the impurities like tar over here. Then there comes a filtration part, right, where we are having this organic filter, where a sawdust or a sand you can filter. There is a fabric filter to remove the impurities, right? And then you can see your clean gas coming out and giving you a continuous blue flame. You can also use different forms of, say, plastic waste, right? Municipal solid waste as well over here. Just that you need to create a fixed bed of it. You need to make sure that the ash content of your biomass is on the lower side. Right? Okay. So now let us go to our second setup. So this particular setup is on so we are going to this second setup that is on bubbling fluidized bed gasification system. Right? If anyone who has joined late, kindly keep your phone in landscape mode, right? And pin Maharishi Thakkar, that is me, on say your screen, right? So you can see this pictures and videos clearly. Okay, so this one is a bubbling fluidized bed gasification system. Right? So the limitation of the downdraft system we have seen is we cannot use biomass with higher ash content. Right? So that kind of biomass, your agricultural waste, can be used over here. Let me show you this one. This is your rice husk. Right? This is a rice husk जो rice के छोड़े निकलते हैं. Right? So this is a pretty lightweight biomass, and it has got higher ash content as well. So we cannot use it in that downdraft system. And in India, every year, around 120 million tons of agricultural waste is being produced. Right? So that is a huge quantity. And if you say come to the power potential of that, we can generate almost say 10 gigawatt of power from that agricultural waste every year. So that is also a huge quantity. So where the grid system is not there, in village area and agricultural waste is there, this is the system suitable for that kind of area. Let us understand its working. You can see over here, there is another hopper. Right? It's small compared to that system because this is a small capacity system, a lab scale model. It can give you 15 kilowatt of thermal energy. So say close to 2 to 3 kilowatt of electrical power. Right? So this is your feeding system, your hopper. It is connected with a variable frequency drive. Right? What is the role of variable frequency drive over here? Is that we can supply the biomass at different rate. Right? So we can control the feeding rate of biomass with the help of variable frequency drive over here. So your agricultural waste will go through the system like this. There is a reactor over here. This is the reactor part. Right? This is a feeding line, and then comes the reactor part. It is made up of SS310. The temperature inside this will be around 800 to 900 degrees centigrade. Okay, now where does this word fluidization comes for? You can see over here at the bottom there is blower. Here it is the blower. Right? So through blower, we will supply the air. It is a regenerative blower. So through that, we'll supply the air from the bottom of the reactor. Right? Inside this reactor, there will be a bed of sand of around 30 centimeter height, just up to your feeding point, just below that feeding point. Right? So that air that we are supplying from the bottom will keep this bed of sand in the fluidizing mode. Right? We are supplying the air from the bottom, so the sand bed will get disturbed. It will move up and down, and it will behave like a fluid. Then, in the surrounding of this reactor, there is an electric heater. You could see over here, there is your control panel. This is your control panel. There are being controls provided for variable frequency drive, the blower, as well as heater. Right? So with the help of heater, first we had to raise the temperature inside the reactor of say around 700 degrees centigrade. Right? So you can start your heater from here. It will take some time to reach to that 700 mark. Once that temperature is reached, right, then you need to start your blower. To hear the sound of your blower. So once that temperature is there, you supply the air from the bottom of the reactor with the help of blower. Bed gets fluidized. Heat is being transferred evenly throughout the sand bed. Right? The gasification के लिए जो conditions चाहिए, the necessary environment required for the gasification will be reached, and then you can start your biomass supply rate with the help of this drive. Right? Inside this, you could see this is your variable frequency drive. You can manage its speed, different speed of the variable frequency drive from here, right, or from this particular knob as well. Right, so the controls that is in our hand will be lower, the biomass feeding rate, and the heater. And you need to keep your heater switched on during the entire experiment because the gasification reactions are endothermic in nature, so they require heat. So that you need to supply the heater over here. Right, so the biomass will go through like this. The producer gas that is generated, right, will come from top of the reactor. Right, there is cyclone separator is being provided. It is the additional component which was not there in downdraft gasifier. Why it is required? Because we are supplying say air from the bottom, so lot of suspended particles will be there in your producer gas. Say char, ash, the unburned particles, right? So that needed to be captured with the help of this cyclone separator. This setup is for thermal applications only. The gas that comes out will be used for say cooking or for say furnace application. So there is no arrangement for cooling and cleaning. Right? If you wanted to use your producer gas for say only thermal application, no need to remove tar from it. Right? So this is for thermal application. So there is no arrangement for cooling and cleaning of the producer gas. Right? So everyone is getting proper view of this. Over here, there is an indicator or say temperature inside the reactor. You could see that there is a temperature of heater, T1, T2, T3, T4, and T outlet. This from T1 to say T4 onwards shows you the temperature inside the reactor. Right? Unfortunately, we have a power failure over here, so I was not able to show you that properly, but I think everyone got an idea a little bit about that. So this is your bubbling fluidized bed gasification system. It is used for agricultural waste or biomass which is lighter in weight. Right? If you use a heavy biomass, what will be the issue? You need to supply more amount of air to keep that biomass in fluidized state. So that will increase the operating cost. Right? So this system is suitable for lightweight biomass like your agricultural waste, light plastic waste which is not that heavy, right? And which has got higher ash content as well because the operating temperature over here will be around 800 to 900. So you can use that biomass which has got higher ash content because ash will not melt over here. Right? So this was regarding bubbling fluidized bed. Why the bubbling word came? Because the air we are supplying in will be not at very high velocity. the air's velocity will be around 1 to say 2 meters per second. So the bed of sand, right, inside that the bubbles will be created. So that's why the word came bubbling fluidized bed gasifier. Another variant of this system is circulating fluidized bed gasifier, where the operating velocity will be on the higher side. Right? So this was regarding bubbling fluidized bed gasification system. It is suitable in village area where huge quantity of agricultural waste is available, right? And for off-grid power generation applications. You can also couple your engine with this as well. Just that you need to provide additional cooling and cleaning arrangements. Right? Some other facilities are also available in this particular laboratory. This thing you could see over here is your muffle furnace. And what is the role of this muffle furnace? You take any biomass or any waste material, first thing you had to do is its proximate analysis. Now, what is proximate analysis? So proximate analysis is useful in determining the ash content, the carbon content, as well as the volatile matter content of your waste or biomass material. Right? So by using this muffle furnace, we can determine the volatile as well as ash content of our biomass. Right? There are different temperature ranges for heating. For volatile matter, you need to heat the biomass at around 900 degrees centigrade for shorter duration. Right? This is your muffle furnace. That's inside view of the muffle furnace. You need to keep very small quantity of biomass or waste, right, inside, say, your crucible in this particular furnace, and you need to heat it at different temperature for ash content, for volatile matter, and for the fixed carbon content as well. This is your muffle furnace, and over here, this is the hot air oven. The moisture present in your biomass and waste also plays an important role. Right? Previous session में हमने देखा था segregation of the waste is important. Right? That सूखा कचरा और गीला कचरा कौन सा है वो सारी चीजें. So same way, moisture content is also important during this process. You have to find out the moisture content of your biomass. Right? So you can place over here. You need to heat your biomass at around 120 degrees centigrade. Right, until all the moisture is being evaporated, and difference in weight will give you the moisture content. Right, you can put your biomass in petri dish over here and can conduct the moisture test. Okay, so this was about from my side. We have seen two setups. One, the downdraft gasification system, and another one is a bubbling fluidized bed gasification system. This setup is why important because we have an afternoon lecture that is of say Dr. Jigisha Parikh, who is from SVNIT Chemical Engineering Department. She is going to cover the part on say how we can generate energy from waste biomass. Right. So since you have seen these two setups, this portion is going to helpful to you in understanding a lecture in a better way. Right. So now the session is open for any kind of question and answers. Any participant not able to see some component, right, properly, he or she can ask. Yes, anyone having any kind of questions or doubts?
Professor Maharshi, good morning. Good morning, Professor Maharshi.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Professor Maharshi, this is Dr. Sudhir Gupte.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Very nicely explained. All the
Thank you.
equipments. Very well done. And,
thank you, sir.
Seeing the equipment in working condition is really a good experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for appreciation. Yes, any other participant having? Okay, are you using hot air oven for moisture content determination or muffle furnace? For moisture content, we are using the hot air oven. The muffle furnace part we are using for the volatile matter and ash content. Yes, any other participant?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
No, sir. I want to ask that if we use plastic as a feed material in bubbling fluid bed gasifier, then what happened to the composition of syngas? Which
See the
yes, yes, sir.
See, the composition of the producer gas definitely depends upon your biomass composition. Right? If your biomass, first, for any biomass, we have to carry out elemental analysis, that is called ultimate analysis. That will give you the idea about C, H, O, and S content of your biomass. If your biomass itself is having higher amount of hydrogen, carbon in it, definitely it will give you a more amount of hydrogen in your producer gas. The possibility is that. Right? So first you need to do element analysis of your plastic waste. That will give you idea about the composition of your biomass. Right? And then from that you can say carrying the experiment you will know about the composition. For composition part you need to use gas chromatograph. Right? Gas chromatographs are used for finding the composition of producer gas or say even biogas as well. We do have gas chromatograph at this institute, but unfortunately we are not covered in this part. So gas chromatograph are normally used for producer gas composition determination.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Any other question? Yes. Any other participant having any kind of question? Okay then. So we'll conclude this session over here. I would like to thank Dr. Vishal and Singh sir, the coordinator of this C.L. Patel Institute of Studies and Research in Renewable Energy, New Vidyanagar, for giving the permission and other support as well. I'd like to thank the head of the Mechanical Engineering Department, Dr. Mitesh Shah sir, the other faculty members of Mechanical Engineering Department, Professor Neerav Parmar sir, Professor Mohammed sir, Professor Mehul Patel sir, and the students of ISHRE for smooth conductance of this particular session. So thank you very much. There is one announcement for participant. The next session on today is at 3 p.m. right? Of say Dr. Jigisha Pari. She is the professor in Chemical Engineering Department of SVNIT Surat. Right? So all the participants make sure that they join around 2:55 p.m. for this session. Thank you very much. Hope you all have enjoyed this session. Thank you very much.